I am very proud today to help showcase the work of our department and its partners, our post-secondary institutions, lawmakers, and stakeholders, all committed to end hunger and promote mental health awareness on our campuses. These partners have been convening for more than a year to make today possible. Various social determinants can significantly impact a student's ability to progress through a post-secondary education program. Addressing these social determinants of student success can help propel student success by meeting students where they are and better addressing their needs. Increasing enrollment and use of various public benefits is one way to address these social determinants of student success. Various post-secondary students may be eligible for public benefits like SNAP, but many do not know they are eligible or don't know how to enroll in these programs. The use of public benefits can act as a third leg, if you will, of financial aid for our students and as a short-term support toward helping them complete their work on their post-secondary credential. My Colorado Journey, a collaborative of Colorado state agencies and various partner organizations, provides users with a wide array of information related to planning for various education and training programs that connect to workforce opportunities. The platform provides users with customized information to best meet their needs depending on their interests and their goals. The platform also provides robust information on various community supports via its Connect Me to Services and Resources content, ensuring that students know about various human services available to them. And we are working to expand this functionality to include data from Mile High United Way's 211 directory of statewide resources. CDHE, the Colorado Department of Higher Education, partners with Single Stop and the RAND Corporation, received a nearly $3.3 million grant from the U.S. Department of Education to pilot and study the deployment of the Single Stop model on 5 institutions of higher education in Colorado. This model will better connect students to the various public benefits for which they may be eligible and assess the impact of those public benefits on increasing post-secondary student success. So to all of our campuses, please review the checklists that we are about to launch today and apply for a hunger-free and Healthy Minds campus designation from our website. Our colleges and universities can use the checklist to implement 4 core programs and 6 core initiatives to receive a hunger-free or a Healthy Minds designation. The institutions can also highlight innovative and impactful programs that they already have, and they may use them as one of the 2 required programs in each category. We want to extend our sincere thanks and appreciation to Kim Tolchinsky. Kim was a master's in public health student when we began this work. In fact, I think, Governor, when you came to visit our offices, you met Kim, we were just starting this process of developing the checklist. She was essential in helping us better understand the national best practices and in convening our stakeholders. So we really do appreciate all her work, and it shows that when you're in college, you can still make a difference in what we do as a state. So with that introduction, I would like to now turn it over to our illustrious and wonderful and brilliant governor, my friend and our governor, Jared Polis.
Thank you, Dr. Piccioni, for that kind introduction. I'm so excited to join you all today. I remember meeting Kim in the early days, planning some of this on the whiteboard. And I want to thank the institutions of higher education, Hunger Free Colorado, Young Invincibles, Department of Human Services, legislative partners, and many other stakeholders. Today is a big day for Colorado students. It's a day where we commit as a state to eliminating food insecurity and prioritizing mental health needs for students pursuing post-secondary education. There's no question that this particular school year, no matter what level you're schooling, what level of schooling you're in, is different and has been very challenging for both our students and for educators. Too many barriers face people trying to get their degrees: food insecurity, homelessness, mental health needs, and much more. And, nationally, at least 45% of post-secondary students experienced at least some food insecurity in 2019. And that number has probably increased because of this pandemic. There's an old proverb: when there's food on the table, there can be many problems. But when there's no food on the table, there's only one problem. By supporting a student's access to food and mental health services, we can truly help them get across the finish line, get their degree, open up better access to long-term opportunities, higher wages and salaries. And opening access to these services isn't just important for our students now, but is also important part of enhancing affordability of higher education. Some people who have the opportunity to get a degree might not pursue it because they're worried about food insecurity as well. So having this in place will help with access and diversity as well. These checklists help institutions of higher ed promote the efforts already taking place on campuses, because not everybody knows about them, and also provide new ideas and best practices as they work towards a hunger-free or healthy minds designation. And we hope as many campuses as possible get designated as quickly as possible. It's going to take all of us working together to ensure our students have every opportunity to get ahead and thrive as they work towards a brighter future. I'm so honored to be part of this kickoff today, and I'll turn it back over to Angie Piccioni. Thank you.
Great. Thank you, Governor. And it's our moonshot goal that every single campus in Colorado becomes a hunger-free campus and a Healthy Minds campus. And so we're putting the challenge out, if you will, to make sure that all of our campuses are moving in that direction. I know they already are. And of course, with the support of the department and all of the departments. And to that end, we have with us also, I believe she's on already, is Michelle Barnes, who is the Executive Director of the Colorado Department of Human Services. And of course, human services are student services, and student services are human services. Maybe you heard something like that once before. Is my colleague in the cabinet, is Michelle Barnes on the call?
Yeah, I am, Angie. Can you hear me?
Fantastic. So welcome. Yes.
Thanks,
yes, we can.
Angie.
Thanks.
I am delighted to be here and take on some of you and the governor's energy. This is an important event. CDHS, the Colorado Department of Human Services, our goal is to help Coloradans thrive through bold and innovative health and human services. And that makes sure at a fundamental level that families have enough to eat and they have mental health services. Like, if you don't have enough to eat, you're not going to do well in school. You're not going to be able to carry a job. You're not going to have strong mental health. It's fundamental to everything we do. I would like to thank Dr. Piccioni and also supplemental nutrition assistance buy foods of their choice with their SNAP benefits. So picture a credit card that money gets put on every month, and you can then use it at the store to supplement your food purchases. It's not like the old days where you had to pull out coupons and everybody knew you were getting food subsidies. It's just a debit card that you're able to use. And today, a lot of our students are working and they have families that they're supporting. And so they need support like this so they can continue their education. I do want to acknowledge that there has been a rumor out there that students cannot get SNAP benefits, and that is fake news. Students qualify for SNAP, and we hope and encourage students to find out if they qualify so they can keep food on the table and focus on your studies, those important years, and not worry about whether or not they're going to be able to have anything to eat that night. It's interesting, SNAP benefits is an entitlement program, and we have more Coloradans participating in this than ever before, but yet 4 in 10 Coloradans who are eligible for them don't participate. And we have put so much effort at a state level to try and get people to understand that these are benefits for them. They're not taking them from anyone else. These are benefits that they have based on their income level, and we want them to use it. We've seen an uptick in SNAP enrollments during COVID, but not enough, and particularly not enough with students. We want to make sure that students on all the campuses within Colorado know that they're eligible and that we're here to help them. You know, students can also get food from food banks and food pantries, and that's great. That's additive to this. But SNAP gives them that opportunity of choice, that they actually get to get into the store and buy what they want versus what's available at the food bank that day. It's interesting, 2 in 5 households in Colorado are experiencing food insecurity, with the need even higher in families that have children and families of color. And this is up significantly. 2 years ago, that number was 1 in 10, and now it's 3 times higher due to COVID. So now is the time to talk to your friends, your classmates, your administration, and make sure that we're getting everybody who's qualified for SNAP benefits the support that they need. Coloradans who have food insecurity are almost 4 times more likely to report poor mental health compared with people who are getting their food. And that makes sense, right? If you don't have enough to eat, it's really hard to be sharp mentally every day because you've got this, this physical condition that's playing against you. And we want to make sure people know, and particularly students, that SNAP is there for them. A couple other things we're doing is we're really trying to look at health more holistically. If you think about if somebody breaks a leg, everyone says, go to the doctor, go to the emergency room. If you meet somebody who doesn't have enough to eat that night, you don't automatically say, hey, go sign up for SNAP benefits so you can feed your family every day. And so we're trying to address that these social determinants of health are just as important as the physical health. And part of that involves partnering with people like Angie and the Department of Higher Ed and organizations like Hunger Free Colorado, colleges, universities, to make student hunger a solvable issue and make sure mental health and substance abuse resources are more readily available and accessible. I have the pleasure of serving on Metro State University's community cabinet, and I know they take this very seriously, so I'm glad to see Will on the podium today, and that they're trying to do everything they can for their students to make sure their food's secure. We also work with county governments. We're changing our processes to make sure it's as easy as possible to sign up for SNAP. Once you sign up, within a couple weeks, you'll have that card that allows you to go to grocery stores and get what you need. And we're also taking advantage of some of the extra funding coming from the federal and the state level during COVID to make sure SNAP recipients are getting the maximum benefit they could possibly qualify for. So there's a lot of help out there. We need your help in reducing the stigma around doing this and really encourage people to get what they need in order to thrive. And hunger and mental health are of huge importance when it comes to whole person health. So we really hope these resources and steps become practice at colleges and universities across Colorado, and that we can help every student find what they need for their health. Please, if you're a student and listening, find out if you qualify for SNAP benefits and all the other resources available through Colorado Department of Human Services. We're all in this together, it's happening, and we hope you'll join us in finding solutions. And with that, I think I will pass it back to Angie.
Yes, thank you, Director Barnes. And, I think there's that misinformation that we all grew up with, that SNAP benefits were only eligible to families and not to individuals, especially individuals who might be enrolled in college. And so that's part of the myth busting that we want to do with this day and with this launch, is that, no, you may be eligible, but at least find out, because if you are eligible, these are benefits that you are eligible for. The federal government makes this investment to make sure that you can be healthy and that you can succeed. And so thank you and your department for everything that you do to make sure that our people, our citizens are healthy and able to succeed in life. So thank you for that. Next up is Anya Rose, who is the Public Policy Manager for Hunger Free Colorado. Anya.
Hi, everyone. Thank you, Dr. Piccioni, and thank you to Governor Polis and Director Barnes for your remarks and for supporting these efforts to support student health and well-being. My name is Anya Rose. I'm Public Policy Manager at Hunger Free Colorado, and we are a statewide nonprofit that connects people to food resources to meet existing needs and drives policy, systems, and social change, all with the goal of ending hunger. We envision a day when every Coloradan has equitable access to the nutritious food they need to thrive and reach their full potential. So I'm thrilled to be here with you today to celebrate the release of the Healthy Minds and Hunger Free Campus checklists. It is startlingly clear that post-secondary students experience extremely high levels of hunger or food insecurity, and it's well documented that hunger has serious consequences. Students struggling with hunger are more likely to miss class and study sessions and lack the funds to purchase the required textbooks. Students facing hunger also deal with higher rates of depression symptoms and are more likely not to complete their studies. In 2018, 40% of Denver students surveyed through the Hope Center's Real College Survey reported experiencing hunger in the prior 30 days. And today, due to the pandemic, hunger rates are surging. When you address hunger, though, you see all kinds of positive ripple effects. On college campuses, addressing hunger means students attending class more consistently. It means students can afford their class materials and students can dedicate themselves to their educations. And eventually it means higher graduation rates, higher earnings for graduates, and better short and long-term health outcomes. So no student should have to make choices between paying for household bills, school supplies, or nutritious food. The Hunger-Free Campus Checklist provides a flexible roadmap for Colorado's institutions of higher education to address hunger. It's a really important first step to help colleges take action to reduce food insecurity, to like SNAP or food pantries that support student learning and career aspirations. So our goal is to see more Coloradans go to college and graduate, but we know folks might need additional resources to succeed. And as an organization that helps people access nutritious food, we know that getting folks enrolled in SNAP is one important way to help. And SNAP, which Director Barnes explained, provides monthly benefits to help low-income households purchase food, is a great resource. Unfortunately, SNAP eligibility for post-secondary students can be complex, and so many students who are eligible for the program aren't aware that they qualify. And according to that same Hope Center Real College survey, among the 40% of Denver area students that reported food insecurity in 2018, only school and not how they'll get their next meal. When I worked for 2 years as a food assistance navigator on our statewide food resource hotline, I spoke regularly with college students that were so surprised and relieved to learn that they could receive SNAP. And students that have been connected to SNAP have told us it's made a huge difference in their ability to help purchase healthy food, to pay their bills, and to reduce a big stressor in their lives. So how can we help? Follow the checklist. We need to increase SNAP outreach initiatives to help guide these students through the thicket of SNAP rules and help eligible students apply for benefits, all while innovating and providing additional supports and access points to nutritious food on campus. No one should go hungry while investing in their future. And when we address hunger and help people reach their full potential, our communities thrive. So thank you to the Department of Higher Education and to everyone who contributed to this effort for collaboratively developing this resource to guide institutions to addressing hunger on campus. And this is so timely and needed. We really hope to see institutions across Colorado engage their student bodies, take meaningful steps to fight food insecurity, and earn their designations as Healthy Minds and Hunger-Free Campuses in the years to come. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Anya. And I'm very excited about our partnership to make this happen. And so, and those of you who are on the call, if you are on this Zoom call, you can go to the chat and there are links to many of the resources that we've been talking about. Up next, I would like to introduce Cameron Vigil, who is the Rocky Mountain Engagement Manager for Young Invincibles. And Cameron, when you're done, if you would introduce the student that you have brought with you, Destiny Martinez.
Sure. Thank you so much for the introduction, Dr. Petoni. Hi, everyone. My name is Cameron Vigil, and I'm the Rocky Mountain Engagement Manager at Young Invincibles. Young Invincibles is a national nonprofit, nonpartisan organization that works with young adults to ensure their voices are amplified throughout the political process and pushes for economic opportunity for the younger generation. I would first like to express my complete gratitude and appreciation to the Colorado Department of Higher Education on behalf of YI and all the young adults we have had the privilege to work with since our office opened in 2016 in the state. In Colorado, we're lucky enough to work with the State Department, who are both student-centered and committed to the success of all students at every institution. CDHE has done a fantastic job at convening nonprofit organizations, colleges, and students to inform the program recommendations within both checklists. I also want to quickly thank Governor Polis, Hunger Free Colorado, MSU Denver, and the Department of Human Services for joining in today and either leading or supporting this initiative. And lastly, of course, a huge shout out to all the young adults in YI's network who have patiently been waiting for both of these checklists to be released, as it was the young adults who helped inform this important work. Throughout each year, YI runs the Young Advocates Program, a paid leadership development program that trains young adults between the ages of 16 to 34 to strengthen their voices across our issue areas while developing skills and gaining experiences in the core functions of advocacy and policy work. You'll get to hear directly from one of our program alumni and student, Destiny Martinez, here in a few minutes. And I know we have other alumni who've joined us, like John Nguyen and Kim Tulchinsky, who are listening in as well. It is through this program that YI has learned more about health equity issues impacting student success at Colorado higher education institutions, specifically student mental health and the access to equitable supports and resources. We heard directly from prospective enrolled and alumni students about the stigma associated with talking about mental health, the lack of education around preventative and self-care programs, the limited access to culturally competent services, the lack of access to student platforms to advocate for and influence change, and the intensive research that students had to go through in order to understand basic services offered at their institution. These checklists are the first step in a changes at several institutions like MSU Denver to address these needs. We quickly realized how receptive, understanding, and eager institutional leadership were and began to create program recommendations that the students believed were achievable at all institutions across the state. Programs like adding the crisis hotline to the back of student IDs, telehealth therapy, and hosting mental health awareness events on campus. The checklist was designed with the intent to be flexible, to allow institutions to apply for the designation with already implemented resources, and provide variable list of programmings with low barriers to implement. What's exciting about both checklists is that they provide the opportunity for institutions to share innovative programming ideas and evolve the checklist while effectively tackling mental health challenges and food insecurity along the way. Now, thanks to CDHE, each checklist is available to the public online, which means students have the opportunity to share the program recommendations and encourage their institutions to earn state designations as both a Healthy Minds and Hunger-Free campus. Imagine how helpful this could be for a prospective high school senior who is in need of additional mental health services as they are applying to colleges for fall 2021 semester and notices that their first pick is taking the lead on mental health programming or food insecurity. I encourage every institution to take a look at both checklists today and apply for a designation if they are eligible, or begin strategizing to become eligible as soon as possible. Experiencing hunger or dealing with a mental health crisis should not fall on the shoulders of our Colorado students. But when it does, students should have the comfort of knowing that their institution and their state have provided resources to support them. It takes a community of professionals and leaders like CDHE, Hunger Free Colorado, and institutional leadership to step in and plan proactively so we could all work towards a strong and prosperous future. Our time to create change was yesterday, but today we're faced with an opportunity to push forward and create differences that could possibly save lives or just make it a bit easier for our students to succeed. And although this is a very exciting day for many of us who have been working on this initiative, we are not done yet, and we are in need of more work like this to keep institutions informed and held accountable. Let's commit to seeing through that all Colorado higher education institutions have Hunger-Free and Healthy Minds designations. And furthermore, let's encourage our peer states to follow suit with similar pursuits. Thank you. And it's now my pleasure to introduce alumni from YI and a current student, Destiny Martinez.
For the introduction, Cameron. As mentioned, my name is Destiny Martinez, and thank you all so much for allowing me to share a student perspective too. I know it means a lot to our group for this to really move forward. So I started at Red Rocks Community College and am currently switching it around at CCD. I do hope to return to my roots and go back to Red Rocks in their nursing program. And I actually started my college experience in high school in their concurrent enrollment program. So already I see myself as coming from a position of luck with that. Because of the early experience and exposure, I was also allowed to see what I would begin to expect in the future. So I began with YI to help future students in their own struggles. And this is where our checklists were born. Because everyone has been behind it and supporting it, actually understand that we need to address food and housing insecurities and the mental health struggles of those that are building the community of tomorrow. So I'm coming to you already in a position of privilege and luck. I do not mean that in the financial support sense, but instead I was able to find the help that I actually needed to allow me to continue my education and to talk to you right now. As I said, I started my college experience with concurrent enrollment, and that opportunity isn't one that's available to everyone else. In it, I had more guidance and help that I would later have, and I didn't even realize it. Once I left, though, it kind of felt overwhelming how little help there actually was. And that's where it started to get rocky for me. I also met a lot of people at Red Rocks, beautifully determined students who worked hard in their classes and had great beliefs for the future. But sometimes I would only see them for a single semester. For some of them, I don't even know why. For those I was able to keep in contact with, it seemed to range. They couldn't afford it as some were kicked out or experiencing homelessness, had to pick up another job, whether it be for keeping themselves afloat or their children or even younger siblings often. My peers have even lost friends due to them taking their own lives. Because when you are on your own so suddenly, you don't know how to ask for help. You might An example for this was me regularly using Red Rocks' food bank, but knowing little to nothing about SNAP before I became an active participant in sharing it. So as a student, especially a new one going into higher education, these checklists will tell me what I have available to me and can expect from my institution. But I know that when I do eventually need it, there is help for me to reach out to and receive. I support these checklists because I don't want our students to be seen as numbers. Yes, mental health awareness is making strides compared to previous generations, but it also, as a student, seems to come to a halt of acknowledgement. It's hard to see banners of "you got this" or "no one to ask for help," and it ending there or not really knowing how to ask for help. Acknowledgement is only a subunit in step one, but I know we can get a lot further. To truly see and support our future working class, we need to begin supporting and understanding how their lives are affecting them and not just how their grades are making the university look. Any student, I believe, can kick butt and improve in a class if they don't have to worry about where they're sleeping that night or their safety getting home. Survival of the fittest should not be applied to our students who are working so hard when they are trying to better themselves. So I come here as one of the lucky students. I was able to overcome these obstacles, and that is why you see me here today. And I'm going to use that luck in whatever privilege I have, no matter how small, to speak about this because I know other students have had the opportunity to do so themselves taken away. I hope you can take something great and important away from this, and thank you so much for allowing me to speak.
Thank you so much, Destiny. And we love to hear your story and to know that you are seeking out the resources that you need to be successful. It's so important that both you seek those and that we have those. And so when we can make that match, then we can really ensure students' success. Cameron? of higher education. And we have with us today Will Simpkins, who is the Vice President for Student Affairs at MSU Denver, one of our great partners. And Will, I'll ask you to deliver your remarks and then introduce your student as well.
Thank you, Dr. Paccioni, and good morning, everyone. MSU Denver takes our mission to serve all Coloradans very seriously. As the third largest university in the state, a Hispanic serving institution where almost half of our students are students of color, over half are first generation students, and our average age is 25. We know that we can be one route to economic mobility for our students, but they need the support to get there, the wraparound support. So we have been rapidly investing in our Student Care Center to support students and their families. This includes things like launching the Single Stop USA platform this semester that Angie mentioned earlier, our longstanding Roadrunner food pantry, making sure that students have access to food, healthy food on campus, our Student Emergency Fund, which has been supported by so many donors in the last few years. Our SNAP collaboration with Hunger Free Colorado has really opened doors to our ability to get more students enrolled in SNAP resources and provide the assistance that students on SNAP need to maintain their eligibility and all the protocols that they have to follow. We've been so lucky to also launch a similar program to support students on the Temporary Assistance for Needy Families program, TANF, through case management and advocacy. Our EPIC Scholars program, also in the Student Care Center, supports former foster or emancipated youth through case management and scholarship programs. And we're just starting to pilot a similar program for justice-involved youth. All of this because we know that these are populations of students in Colorado that need the wraparound support to access higher education and the opportunities that follow from that degree. On the mental health side of our campus, we are very lucky that a student initiative several years ago created a small, less than $50 a term mental health fee at MSU Denver. And as a result of that, all 18,000 of our Roadrunners have access to counseling and psychiatry services at no additional charge. Whether they're in the counseling center or our area health center, all mental health services, there is no additional charge for those to really increase access to those services. We're also very fortunate because of our Auraria model to have the Auraria Recovery Community collaboration with CU Denver and the Community College of Denver that supports students who've been impacted by substance abuse and addiction. As I look back on the last year, I think the disparate impacts of COVID-19 on our lower income and communities of color has only elevated our sense of urgency in addressing these issues. We've also had to pivot all of these services online so that everyone can continue to access. And while we're really anxious and excited to get back to campus in fall 2020, our students need it and are demanding it. We're going to maintain that digital access point moving forward so that everyone has access to services no matter where they are. So now I'd like to introduce one of my favorite students at MSU Denver. Leilani Woodruff received her Bachelor of Social Work degree in 2020 and came back to us and is enrolled in her Master of Social Work program at MSU Denver. Not only has Lonnie used some of the services at the university, she's also led the charge in getting other students to access those services as well. So Lonnie, take it away.
Hi all, thank you for introducing me, Will. Before I go on further with my introduction, I just wanted to state, we'll bring some awareness to the racist video that was played earlier. As a woman of color and a person sitting on this panel, I'm just very disappointed in the lack of acknowledgement of that video. But with that being said, yeah, let me get started. So thank you all for coming here today and providing me the opportunity to speak on this panel. My name is Leilani Woodruff. I'm a graduate student in the Masters of Social Work program at MSU Denver. I'm also interning at the EPIC Scholars program as a program coordinator. I've served on the Student Advisory Board and Classroom to Career Hub committees, along with serving on many panels. So like this work is right up my alley. Now that you know a little bit more about me, I want to invite you to hear a story about me as if you were living a day in my life. So it's the beginning of fall semester. It's my second semester into my graduate program. I just lost all of my undergraduate scholarships, which was my primary source of income. At this point, my hourly pay is $12.85. I'm only awarded $3,000 per semester in work study funds. I cannot work over 16 hours a week because of my internship requirements for my program and because of work study. And also just considering my background in the foster care experience, the lack of familial support, and all the tragedies that come with that. So I'm a full-time student. Getting another job is not an option for me at this point. So this is when I tried to apply for food stamps. Long story short, I was denied on the basis of not working over 20 hours a week. So while supports such as the food pantry and mobile food trucks at MSU Denver have assisted me with food security, I strongly believe that these efforts are not enough. More needs to be done to ensure basic needs are met in order to support academic success, which in turn contributes positively to our economy, as we know. If we know a K through 12 student cannot focus on their studies properly due to hunger, I then ask you, what is the difference between college level students? What's the difference between independent students, students who are parents, students with low socioeconomic status, all marginalized students, which we know at MSU Denver, we have a diverse student body. So when thinking about all of that, it's important to just acknowledge like the systemic barriers and looking at the ways we can prevent or eliminate those, especially for our most marginalized students. With that, I'll leave you with, I would really like to ask Governor Polis to support House Bill 1094, which focuses on allowing foster youth who meet eligibility criteria to continue to receive child welfare services up until the last day of the month of their 21st birthday. Thank you for allowing me to speak today.
Thank you, Lonnie. Certainly appreciate that. And thank you, Dr. Simpkins. And Lonnie, I will say, as also a woman of color, I was very disturbed by that video. Not sure where it came from. And sorry, I didn't address it right away, but I think I'm still in a little bit of shock that someone had joined our call, not with their name, but with just iPhone. And I think in our security settings, we had allowed for screen sharing. And so that's, we'll own that mistake. But yes, it was very, very disturbing. And we will see if there's any way that we can find out who that was. Look, I want to appreciate everybody that showed up today, everyone on the panel who shared their story or shared the resources or shared what's happening on our campuses and in our communities. This is a very serious issue, among many other serious issues as well, as has been mentioned, things like housing insecurity and even transportation insecurity. I do want to recognize also the Representative Michelson Janae, who is doing yeoman's work, if you will, in the field in terms of trying to make mental health accessible. And she was not able to be with us today because, hey, they're in session. So she has her representative work to do. And, you know, in my very first convening, the first time I met with the presidents of all of the institutions, I asked them what the #1 issue facing them and their campuses. And virtually to a person, each president said it was mental health issues. And so we know that these issues are very severe. We know that they're very serious. And this is our effort to mobilize, if you will, all of our campuses and our communities to say, in Colorado, we aspire to have hunger-free campuses and campuses where individuals and students can have healthy minds, that they have access to mental health services. And so this is what we want to do in Colorado. We are on our way. And today we are launching the checklists so that each campus can become designated as a hunger-free campus and a healthy minds campus. They are already doing, as Dr. Simpkins said, they are already doing work in that direction. And so this will help to earn the designations so that we can have 100% of our campuses earn the designation as soon as possible. We care about our students. We care about the campuses. We want to make sure that they're accessible and that they provide the services that are available, and that students know that they can also apply for federal benefits if they are eligible. So this is the work that we're doing. We thank our partners all across the state and even other departments like the Department of Human Services. So thank you, Director Barnes, for being with us today. And with that, we do have a couple of minutes. If there are any questions, you can put a question in the chat. I see one already from Elizabeth Hernandez that asks if any are already designated. That we just are launching the checklist today, so I'm sure that will probably be on that checklist right away to say, hey, we can earn that designation right away. So not officially yet. Yes. Any other questions? We can. We've got another maybe 90 seconds or so. We can answer any other questions. We are very excited to see who becomes the first to be designated. Will, we are excited to see who gets the first designation, and then we'll see how many will follow. Our goal is to get at least 7 this year, and then hopefully continue to build on that over the years. These are the social determinants of student success. These are also the social determinants of health. And so we are focused on that, as is the Department of Human Services. And we want to make sure that Colorado earns the designation as a hunger-free, healthy minds state for students in Colorado. So with that, I will say thank you for your time and your attention. And let's continue the work together. Here we go. Thanks, everyone.